Hello and welcome to your Angels Baseball Podcast. It's your boy Gisei and Thano Dalkos coming from slightly different backgrounds today. Thano, looks like you have a very clean room. What's new?
So my wife's in the office that I usually record in. So now this is my corner of the living room
Looks
with
good.
the
Looks
sliding
good.
door here and the light right here. So it's very bright and but it works.
Nice. I'm at my sister's place, so yeah, let's mix it up a little bit. If you guys hear a
Yeah.
baby screaming in the background, cut us some slack because he's probably screaming about the Angels draft.
We all were at one point.
Oh, we were screaming at number two, but it feels a lot better as time went on, and we saw that Tyler Bremner was taken underslot
Yeah,
by
I wasn't.
a lot of money underslot, and you know probably we built into the hype. We're buying into the hype a little bit too much. You're just gonna be honest, when me and Thano were watching the draft together, we were we lost it
We
because
had a raw reaction. Let's just say that.
because we did not see the Angels take Ethan Holiday at two.
We continuously told each other if Holiday's there too, there's no way the Angels are gonna pass on him, but they
And I
did.
and I said for months that I wasn't even going to dream about him being at two. And well, there he was. And
Yeah,
Tyler Bremner nearly passed out
it's
uh
true.
due to how much I love this team. But I
We realized how much of a Perry pick it was picking his guy, college pitcher, which is interesting because he didn't pick Kate Anderson, but apparently the Mariners were extremely high on Tyler Bremner. So this was kind of a we're gonna pick him, so the Mariners can't have him type pick.
and the Mariners are probably trying to go underslot too, and probably would have preferred going underslot in theory, if the choice, because the choice isn't just Tyler Bremner and Kate Anderson, it's effectively Tyler Bremner and the $2.6 million,
Right.
if that makes sense. Now, Ethan Holiday
Yeah.
was probably looking for overslot, if we're got to be
Easily.
honest, because he
Yeah.
was Scott Boras' client, and that probably is what turned away the Nationals and a few of the teams at the top. Um,
Makes
big
sense.
big bet by the Rockies. They need a foundational piece. We need
Yeah.
a lot of pieces. So for the Angels, I feel like the in retrospect, if they end up signing all these guys, it is a huge deal for us to do it. So why don't we go ahead, Thano, and why don't we go through each pick? Let's
Sure.
let's talk about it. Let's share some screen. As we all know, we all love sharing screen here at the Sell the Team Artie Marino podcast. And let's dive right in. So here's the draft. Round one, Tyler Bremner. Round two, Chase Shores. Three, Johnny Slowinski. Nate Snead, Jake Monroe, CJ Gray, Luke LaCourse, Lucas Smallstead, Isaiah Jackson, Slate Alford, Nick Rodriguez, Alton Davis, Talon Haley, Xavier Mitchell, TJ Ford, Mickey Cascino, Gage Harrelson, Cole Raymond, Angelo Smith, Yvonne Tatis, and Sam Tucuyan. I think I got those right. Uh,
Hmm.
big thing here we're looking for, Thana, right here. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for where were they ranked, right? We're the
Right.
top 250 prospects on the MLB 2025 big board for the draft. Yes or no? Well, the Angels picked up eight of them,
Right.
which for reference, if we go to their draft last year in 2024, we're going to see that the Halos picked up one, two, three. They did not sign Ryan Prager.
No. Yeah.
Four, five.
Right.
And they did not sign Connor Gatwood. So a lot of times that pick here, the late, pick is just like a get to know the guy type thing.
Sure.
For watch, they might be signing Connor Gatwood, like drafting him next year, and they wanted to start that relationship. So
True.
the big thing here is, last year I looked it up, we had about $12 million in draft money. This year we had $16.5 million in draft money. Sometimes it pays to suck, and the Angels have sucked for a long time. And
That's
now,
true.
and now we have all the picks, just like the Bears. So effectively, we drafted Darnell Wright, Bremner at number two overall. Thano, do you want to start talking about these picks? Obviously, I know you are likely.
Yeah, no, I actually do like Tyler Bremner. A lot of people, a lot of analysts and people on Twitter are saying, well, he didn't face the biggest competition over at UC Santa Barbara. However, he just has really good stuff, really good command. Obviously, has a good fastball, and he's got the really good changeup. And then the goal is to develop that third pitch, the slider. And he was very emotional on draft night, obviously, but he recently lost his mom to cancer, and that's what he was dealing with throughout this whole season in college baseball. So, kind of a very, very unfortunate for him and his family, but I'm glad he became the second overall pick, and I think he's got a lot of drive and a lot of his highlights and clips. He's very motivated and excited when he strikes people out, gets that third out.
Sorry.
He pitch before he comes up, and then hopefully we can get something out of him at that point.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that, viewers. We had a little technical difficulty there as I tried to share my screen too aggressively. Um, Donna, I think you nailed it. I think we have a guy.
Hmm.
We've
We got a
got a
guy.
guy in Tyler Bremner. We can slot him in and we can say, behind Kikuchi, he's right there.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that, especially once he gets that third pitch to work off of, just to throw the hitters off balance. He's got the command, which is very impressive.
And let's not forget that he was rolling into the draft with two very plus pitches. So he has a
Right.
55 fastball and a 65 changeup. He
Yeah,
also has
those are
good
the
control.
pitchups. Yeah.
And getting a 65 grade on a pitch, for reference, if we look here, our boy Cade Anderson doesn't have a single 65,
Right.
but he's a 60 because he's got like another pitch developed. Well,
Yeah.
I think this is kind of like a floor and an upside pick at the same time. And we essentially took Tyler Bremner and
Hmm.
got Johnny Slawinski, Luke LaCourse, CJ Gray, Talon Haley, Xavier Mitchell.
And Talon Haley did just sign recently.
Yeah,
He is
yeah,
I
that
saw something.
that's
I saw
huge.
something on Twitter that his girlfriend was posted a very nice like farewell message to him. It looked like he was on the plane going somewhere. I don't know if it's Arizona or a different rookie league, but yeah,
Angel's
it's
Twitter is like on the hunt to figure out if he's
yeah,
signed, which is
yeah,
really
no,
funny.
which is
And
good.
if we look at my news
There it
feed,
is, right there. Yep,
is that him?
inside
Is that it?
Halos.
That
Yep,
is him. There's Talon
that's him.
Haley. Looks like he's off to Arizona, giving his
Love
family
that.
a hug.
Love that.
That. And our boy, not Mickey
Not
Mo's
Mickey.
been tracking this, and it's a big deal. So
Yep.
I want to talk a lot about. Let's keep going, Thano. So Chase
Yep.
Short, God, he's a stud, man. A lot of the underlying metrics are kind of similar to a Jacob Mizorowski, from the fact
Hmm.
guy throws gas, and
Throws
he's
gas. He's
coming out
tall.
long relief. He had a five ERA, so we got to point that out that he had a high ERA, but his stuff plays. And you make a couple of adjustments. He's already had Tommy John, I believe, for a shoulder surgery, which is a concern. But he throws gas, and he's 6'8", 245, and we got him at slot value. So that's a big deal to get him at slot value.
No, I like the pick a lot. A lot of people have that pick maybe a little further down the line in the draft, but in all sports and especially in baseball, if you find the guy you want, just take him at the pick. And I think that's what people were upset about with the Tyler Bremner pick overall number 2. I think the Angels just really liked him and didn't want him to go anywhere else. I think the
Mhm.
same thing applies for Chase Shores. So picking him at 47, people might have been a little confused, like his ranking was 77, but his stuff plays. He's very big, big frame, and
Physical
he's got
on the mound, very, very athletic.
intimidating on the mound. So I like the pick. Can never get too many pitchers, and
No,
we liked it. And the one thing that George and I were both rooting for, obviously didn't happen, was Jace Laviolette falling to 47.
but yeah, that
Didn't
was maybe
quite
a
get
little crazy. He went to 27, but that would have been wild if he went to
didn't
47.
quite get there, but it was we were hoping for it. But glad that he went to the Guardians. That's my father-in-law's favorite team, so I'm happy for him. But yeah, that was. But I'm really glad that we got just a guy that we could easily slot in the bullpen. When he's ready. Definitely, his stuff plays and not gonna say long relief, but definitely short relief, depending on how they want to develop him as a starter or as a relief pitcher. Because that's what we have with Sam Bachman right now is just a pure relief pitcher. We're not using him as a starter at the moment.
Mhm.
And I just like the idea of getting a lot of pitchers that have a lot of good stuff that we could develop, especially at the rookie level and hopefully in Arizona because we got that pitching lab in Arizona, which is good.
And I think that's a big point you're touching on is that like look here at the 2021 all pitchers draft, very notorious. Look here, 8 guys in the top 250 from that draft.
Yeah,
Um, but I feel like this one's a little bit different because I feel like a lot of the guys who are on the top 250 here were all college guys.
right,
So it feels like they were kind of, maybe going with some lower upside. I mean, when we were in this position, we were so desperate as an organization for pitching. We were looking for the fastest guys to call up, and that was kind of the priority. The difference
right.
between that draft and this draft, I feel like personally, is that here we took some real swings with some of these.
Yeah.
And when I say swings, is high school talent. High school prep talent is like extremely important to think about because a guy like Johnny Slawinski who we took in the third round, whose slot value was 1 million, but he got 2.5 million.
hmm
I mean, this guy, if he went to Texas A&M, I'm telling you, he's walking out as a top
10, 15 pick
first round
easily.
pick, top 10,
Yeah,
15 pick. So like
easily.
easily. And he's a monster. And like the fact that we just got him to sign with us instead of going to Texas A&M is such a big deal. And the same thing goes with CJ Gray, another stud pitcher committed to NC State to play quarterback, I believe.
Wow.
So we're committing with NIL money at these cases, and this guy's an athlete too. Now, Nate Snead, Chase Shores, really quick movers to the big leagues.
I
Pretty,
think so too.
pretty ready. Nate Snead, you can call up as a reliever right away. Same idea with our boy Lucas Malstead.
I like the way he pitches. It's different. It's a
Yeah, he's
real
kind of like a
different.
funky pitcher. He's
It's
getting called
real
up
different.
right out of the gate. But when you look at this draft, even some of the guys that weren't top 250, but look here, Luke LaCourse, high school.
High
Okay,
schooler. Yep.
this is important for our viewers to understand that drafting high school talent and getting them to sign with your organization means that the quality of talent's higher.
hmm
It means they're in your farm system longer. This is officially the organization finally saying, all right, we've got the big league roster to a point to where we're going to start taking some risks on some really high upside young kids because in a draft where you have $17 million to play with, they had the money to pay for some toys effectively and
Right.
get a Talon Haley in the 12th round, a
And
nine,
get and then
nine,
getting him to sign.
and then getting him to sign, which is important, right? And so even a guy like Ivan Tatis, he's not in the top 250, but this guy's a monster, and he's, a shortstop, always is a valuable position to get depth in. Well, he's how old is he? He's
A kid.
19 years old,
Yeah.
and we're getting value with some of these late round picks here, which, you know, I, this is a guy who could have been like a top 5 round pick that we're getting in the 19th round because we're getting him to sign. TJ Ford has 80 grade speed. Like
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
th these are this is a crop of talent. And I think this says a lot about the organization making a big decision to send a lot of their top prospects to the Arizona Complex League because it's next to the state-of-the-art facility that they recently developed. The team is
Right.
saying that they are ready to develop high school talent, which means you can flip the talent. You can trade the talent if you want to. If you feel like, Bremner's a legit number two, number three guy, Shores is a stud. I mean, I don't want to trade this kid, Slawinski, but he's a top 100 prospect a
Yeah,
couple.
we're talking about having the assets to make a move potentially because we don't know if that move's going to be this year, this deadline, or potentially next trade deadline. We don't know yet. So it's all very contingent on how the Angels do the rest of the year and how aggressive they're going to be. I mean, they obviously went. they were buyers at the deadline a couple of years ago, and that backfired completely. Not that the prospects we lost, in my opinion, were solely missed. I mean, we both
At
wanted
Bush,
Kai Bush, Edgar Carroll. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have those guys in our farm system still. However, I
yeah,
was a little glad that the Angels tried something. Obviously, they failed and it flopped, but in hindsight's 2020, so
they went for it, and you can't get
they
mad at
went
them
for it.
for going for it. Another pick, Thano, we need to talk about is we want to talk. I want to talk about these two third basemen in the second base with some of the infield depth we drafted. The college bats,
Yes,
if you notice strategically what the team did, they took with their top couple picks out of their top four picks, they took three college arms. These
right,
are guys who are going to be up and pitching for us soon. They went extremely overslot on Johnny Selinsky,
right.
who might be the highest paid guy in this third round, which we should look at because if he's getting
He might be. He might
2.6
be.
million in the third round, he got more money than Chase Shores.
Right.
So let's think about that, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of teams probably were passing on Johnny Swinsky because they couldn't afford him because they knew we're going to take this. This kid's going to Texas A&M. He's 12th man. They're paying him a lot in NIL. Now these guys, three of these four guys are going to help you pretty soon. Jake Monroe is going to help you pretty soon. As you can see here, he's 21 years old, third base prototype. Well, they didn't just get one of those guys. They got two of those guys. They got a 22-year-old
Right.
in Slate Alford in the ninth round, who
Yeah, very similar to Jake Monroe in terms of the height and the weight and the type of player, obviously playing third base, the hot corner. But looking at Jake Monroe, he seemed at Louisville just like a guy that made a lot of contact, was surprisingly patient at the plate, which you don't see often with a lot of college hitters. They are very aggressive at times, but I like the fact that they went after a third baseman. We definitely thought he was going to do that earlier. They were Angels were going to do that earlier in the draft, but they clearly wanted those pitchers. So in the fourth
can't get
round,
mad at them for
getting
that. Can't get
yeah,
mad at them for getting pitching,
yeah,
even
you
though it's
can't.
not sexy.
No, I mean we were both calling each other like, are they going to pick a position player like soon? And then when they picked Jake Monroe, we both were like, okay, they picked someone. We could chill
And they
for a
used a
second.
fourth round pick on him too, so that's a good. And we need third baseman depth. Like we have, as
Yeah,
I showed here, Denzer Guzman in the minor leagues, but like
right.
who's playing third base for the Halos right now? Yohan Moncada, can you put
Tonight,
him?
today on July 18th, it's going to be Kevin Newman because Moncada's not playing today for some reason. Hopefully he's okay. But I think all Angels fans are kind of done with the Kevin Newman signing and the experiment that he is. I mean, Chris Taylor did go 3 for 3 yesterday, so hopefully he'll come back soon and maybe I mean, just our bench depth right now, it's just not Lamont Wade Jr. and Chris Taylor. I mean,
Correct.
Travis Darno is one of the best backup catchers in the league, but yeah, we need guys that can make a difference
Yep,
in
and,
terms of
and these are difference makers coming in right from
yeah,
college. Who are going to help that third base depth. We need it. These two and Denzer Guzman we're looking at for next year in terms of who's going to go win that spot.
sure,
Now, what up, Peter? Go Halos. So speaking of the depth in the field, right? Two other guys we want to talk about, Thano, Nick Rodriguez and Isaiah Jackson, two left-handed bats.
right. Isaiah Jackson, very powerful bat out of Arizona State. I was looking at his clips, I was looking at his highlights, and he just looks like a guy that he kind of reminds me of just a good corner outfielder that could hit the ball hard to the other side. And obviously, the left-handed bat plays really well. But if you obviously when he comes up, hopefully, would probably within 3 years or so, it would probably have to be a corner outfield spot, which would make sense for
I,
him
I think he could play center field though, because
potentially.
they talked a lot about him playing center field. And if you look here, he's got 55 field. Now,
hmm
you don't
But
have
then
to be
your
that good of a center fielder to.
but then your favorite prospect, Nelson Rada, also plays center field.
You're right. I'm just happy we're, not sending Lamont Wade Jr. in the foreseeable future, Hunter.
Yeah, we like the goal is within 2 to 3 years, we can use the guys from this draft, last year's draft, to actually be on our major league roster. We don't need to go and sign someone else's DFA Lamont Wade
Guy.
Jr. I mean, Chris Taylor was a different story because I think having a veteran that could play all the positions that's not named Luis Rengifo is a good thing to have. But and I just like the way Chris Taylor's a competitor, and he just looks like a ball player out there that makes plays, and he just knows the game really well. Lamale Jr., I'm sad that he can figure it out, but or knock on wood, maybe he still can. Who knows? But yeah, the goal is that these guys that the Angels drafted this year more than likely can
Depth.
help us in the future, like
They're getting
near
real depth
future.
with TJ Ford and Isaiah Jackson in the outfield. Now this guy's a true. I mean, he's not ranked, TJ Ford,
Right.
but I'm just gonna say it now. Look out for this guy. This guy
Yeah.
has 80 grade speed. That means he's potentially one of the fastest guys in baseball. Let's just see if we can get a clip of him running really quick. TJ Ford.
We do have a
Yeah.
fast guy in our
Oh, look at this. Hang
farm
on.
right now.
Hang on.
Okay.
Let's watch this guy run.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Look
got
at him.
wheels.
That's just he's going for a triple there. Look at
Yeah,
this.
he's got wheels for sure.
Is
Is
he
he
going?
going for an inside the Parker?
I don't know. No, he stopped the
No.
third. I don't know how fast this guy was for a second.
That's fast. That's
Angels
fast.
win. Angels win likes him because he's got 80 grade speed, and it's. I'm surprised that someone has an 80 grade tool and isn't in the top 250.
Well, again, he's a kid, and maybe it's because a lot of scouts don't like the measurables of 5'9", 154. He's a shorter kid, but that also maybe a shorter stride. He's really quick, obviously, in that clip you just showed. I like the fact that they got a guy that's fast. We also have a guy that's fast in Kyron Paris too. So it's like
And he strikes out a lot. Seems like this guy hopes.
exactly, and strikeout and speed. So I mean,
So
that's
Thano and I
tough.
talk a lot about Nelson Rada from this standpoint because if
We
you have a
do.
guy with speed that can get on base, a la a Sean Figgins, where like it's not just someone who's fast, but someone who gets on base and is fast, it
Hmm.
doesn't really matter what the guy's slugging percentage is because you're turning singles into doubles. And if you have 30 stolen bases and your on base percentage is 380 and your slug is like 300, 320, well, sure you have 700 OPS. But the analytics would say, well, if this guy's got 30 doubles instead of 30 singles or walks with 30 stolen bases, well,
Yeah,
obviously the slug's going to be more towards 400. So you're looking at a different player. So that's one of the things with the, current way of looking at OPS, where like a guy like Nelson Rada, you don't see the full story sometimes. Um, I see the
yeah,
same thing here with TJ Ford. Thano, can we talk about? I mean, I like getting Ivan Tatis in the 19th. Just, I mean, the fact that we signed him is a huge deal. Get another prep shortstop in the organization and
right.
keep building that middle infield depth because behind Christian Moore and
Hmm.
Zach Neto, like, who do we
We
got?
still we still currently have Luis Rengifo.
Is it still Luis Rengifo?
We still currently have Rengifo as our
We have
current
Lugo.
depth.
We have
We do
Lugo.
have
Getting
Lugo. He's
older. He's
young.
getting gradually older, but yeah, I mean, we're really looking at Lugo, and what if he doesn't pan out? So we got another guy who can kind of
Yeah,
put into that prep tier, send him to rookie ball, uh, because right now we're looking at we're just thin on in our depth at these positions where a
it's
lot of these
true.
are really deep. At least the contending teams we're talking about. Now, I want to talk about a few of these picks down here. Thana, do you want to actually talk about these guys? Talon Haley, Xavier Mitchell.
Talon Haley obviously ranked 91, and the fact that we're getting him to go to Arizona and sign him with just a huge positive. He was diagnosed with large Hopkins with I forget the full name
Hodgkin's
of it.
lymphoma, I
Yeah,
think.
yes, and he luckily beat it, and he also did have Tommy John surgery, but he is a very interesting story, very good pitcher who's got good stuff. The fastball I was reading earlier touched around 97, oh, right there, been up to 97, and he clearly and he's got a really good curveball plus curveball. So if we could develop the fastball a little bit better and the curveball, and then maybe a changeup. I like the idea of using a curveball, kind of like a Reed Detmers or a Kikuchi,
He
just
don't,
throwing it.
dude, Thana, that was kind of what he reminded me of was a Reed Detmers.
Yeah, like a
And
Reed Detmers.
I just love that we could see this crop of talent because we have been so desperate for so long to like have a true farm.
True.
And this is definitely a B class. I mean, Yeah, I mean, this guy, Mr. Moniak, our boy, is just spot on here because a lot of people are just hating on us for they're hating on us for
The Bremner pick,
the Bremner pick, but like we got not it's not just Tyler Bremner.
it's the whole
It's
draft. Yeah.
it's drafting effectively Tyler Bremner, Johnny Slowinski, CJ Gray, Talon Haley, Xavier Mitchell. I mean,
Talon again, and Talon Haley in the 12th round is just such a steal in terms of he was picked 349. His ranking was 91, and he's actually going to play in the Arizona Complex League
I
sooner
mean,
rather than
teams just
later.
didn't think he was signing probably. And most teams don't have the money to do something like this. Now you see the Orioles that had a very similar draft to us, where the
Okay,
Orioles
I didn't
came
know.
out with
I did see
uh
a little bit about that.
nine. They came out with nine top 250. I believe the Mariners had a lot of money. They came out with eight top 250, right? Obviously, Bremner and Anderson are going to be compared for
The
eons,
rest, their careers, yeah,
but they don't. You know, the other thing is that the Mariners don't have Joe Adell.
they
So,
don't.
let's hope Joe Adell stays solid.
And
But
that's the thing. In terms of we obviously George and I, and even the Angels organization, they in the last couple of drafts have preferred guys that can move up in the farm quicker rather than, developing in a more natural rate that most teams usually do with their talent. But I think in this draft, they did separate themselves a little bit from what they used to do in getting
yep.
some high school players. But again, with like a guy like Joe Adell, for example, it took him a while to get, to the point where he is now. And you see it all the time with a guy that he's struggling at the major league level, does really well in minor leagues, and then they bring him back up, and then he struggles again. But what I always like to say is you can't give up fully on these guys because they're just one good month away from figuring it out, or like one good half a season away from figuring it out. And I think Joe Waddell definitely did that a little bit last year, and he's doing that a lot this year. So in terms of if it takes a while for some of these guys to get ready to be developed fully, I'm completely fine with that. If they do give us the type of production that maybe a Joe Adell is giving us right now, and we don't mess with their confidence, if that makes sense.
And if Tyler Bremner ends up being like the top pitcher in the
Hmm.
draft and we got him under slot, yeah, I agree, Peter. If Tyler Bremner becomes the top pitcher from this draft and we got him under slot, then like, yeah, we're in a good position. So sorry, I just had to tell
100%.
my little nephew that because he's probably going to be watching some of these kids when he's older
That
and
is true.
watching this podcast and
A
saying,
lot
damn,
of Angels baseball.
was Uncle Thano
Yep.
on the point with 19-year-old Ivan Tatis from
Yeah.
the 19th round?
No, it's a this I could honestly say this was probably the first year I looked more in depth in our draft because we had the number two pick.
We
Selfishly,
just
I
had
was
so
like,
much money. We could do so
yeah,
much. We could buy some shiny toys. Like, let's go. For everyone else, can we show them? Thano, let's show them last year, right? We
yeah,
showed them, like, let's go to last year. We took Christian Moore under slot, right? But
yeah.
look, he was under slot at 5 mil, right? Like, we're picking number two, so our underslot was 7.5 mil, and we still had 9 million to go. This year we
Right.
underslotted at 5 mil, and we had 7 mil to go, or they had 7 mil to go after this pick last year. So
I
like,
mean, it's kind of nuts to think about that just in last year's draft, we've already seen Christian Moore and Ryan Johnson at the major league level. I think that's nuts to think about, but I do think it's awesome that Christian Moore, as soon as he comes back, he is our second baseman and he's ready to go. And he's already had some amazing games for us. But in terms of,
this looks like a
yeah,
decent draft, actually, in
it's not
retrospect.
a bad draft.
I
It's
know we
not a
didn't
bad
get
draft.
Prager, and I know I don't want to sit here and say Perry's kind of balling out, but like, we're looking at 2023.
Paul Skeens,
We're the
nice
only
pick.
we're the only one that does this. We go through the draft picks like this. I mean, we still have Barrett Kent in the coming up from this draft, and anyone else we see here? Rowdy Rodriguez, he's doing okay. That was,
Besides our boy Nolan Chanuel, who's
I mean, but
been our
like,
first.
we also got to understand we didn't have a lot of money to deal with, right? So like
Sure,
if we're looking at this draft, right, and we're signing a guy for 5 mil at slot value, we didn't go under slot this draft, which is why you only see four guys in the top 250.
sure,
So
sure.
like I want our viewership to understand what we did here. We effectively traded the number two pick back for a guy that preseason was ranked number four overall. His
Right.
draft stock fell. Some teams still had him as the number one pitcher on the board. I mean, it is a gamble, but if Tyler Bremner ends up being a dude,
Hmm.
and he doesn't need to be the best pitcher in this draft, he just needs to be a dude. We have waves of these young kids coming up now, which is the first time we could say that in.
Yeah, and I do think that everyone always ranks our farm system as the bottom like two or three teams in the league, which understandably because all of our top talent is
They're
now
playing
in the major
majors.
league level. Like if we had a Zach Neto, Nolan Shanuel, Christian Moore actually like be in the minor leagues, our farm system would be what? Top five, top 10? But those guys are at the major league level and they're not prospects anymore for the most part, besides Christian Moore. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited. I see a lot of potential for us to finally keep some guys in the minor leagues, hold on to their arb rights longer. We are stacking assets finally. We're
yeah.
finally stacking assets and filling holes, and we're using a lot of these major league picks. We're using essentially a lot of these college picks to fill holes on the major league roster, right? Like if you just look at the draft, they're using those Jake Monroe, Slate Alford to fill that third base hole because that's a big hole right now. We have
Hmm.
a big hole at second base behind Christian
Well,
because
behind Chris, yeah,
you know, but like we need a guy, we need that depth. We have
sure.
a big hole at starting pitching, huge hole at starting pitching and bullpen depth, right?
Yep. No, I agree with
And
you.
and we also have a huge hole in the outfield, which is where a guy like Isaiah Jackson, that's why this pick is so good here. That's why getting Isaiah Jackson in the eighth round is such a big deal. And then getting a guy behind him, a couple guys even, right? I don't know if we're gonna look at Gage. I mean, he's not too.
Well, who knows? The thing is, we
You
don't know
never
what the
know with
future
some of these
holds.
kids.
We
Exactly.
could
You never
have
know.
a Cole Raymond shoot up the minor leagues. We could have a Tatis shoot up the minor. Who knows how well these guys are going to
The
do?
thing is, they signed everybody. They signed all
Yeah,
21 kids.
it's
So like,
exciting.
it's really
It's
yeah.
it's exciting nonetheless, and
Lucas
that's
Malstead coming up to help the bullpen. And
mhm,
then we have how many guys going to the high school pitching lab now? That is fully state of the art. We have one, we have two, three, four, five guys
right.
that we're super excited about. This is
Yeah, and they're
exciting.
gonna they're
Look
gonna
at this
figure
guy.
out that they're gonna figure out their like maybe add some velocity, hopefully, maybe figure out another pitch. But what you said earlier about
They took nine high
needing
school players.
yeah. What you said earlier about needing outfield help, um, I could not agree with you more because obviously Joe Adell we want to be a mainstay of the outfield. I think he plays better as a right fielder. He was a Gold Glove finalist last year.
Mhm.
Taylor Ward, we're not sure if he's going to be in the plans long term. He is 31 years old. And anyone who
We win
watches Angels
tonight.
baseball, yeah, anyone who watches Angels baseball knows Taylor Ward is not a good outfielder in terms of defense. He's not the fastest and doesn't have the most strong. He doesn't have the strongest of arms, but he's got the power at the plate. And then Mike Trout, we both agreed we want him to be our full time DH.
Yeah, I saw something about him playing right field. I don't even want it. I mean, the guy's getting
No,
a 400 on base percentage. Like, he should just
he
be
bring
standing on first base all day instead of standing in right field.
he brings so much patience at the plate, and he's been swinging the bat really well lately. He's been playing really well,
He should
and
be David Ortiz. That's the way he should age effectively.
yeah,
That's the way
honestly,
because if he's David Ortiz, he's on a discount contract. If he's not playing, he's hurting himself. And honestly, if he's playing right field, he's not that good of a defender anymore. We just have to be honest about that. Like,
well, the thing is, I think he had such great instincts at center field that when he was playing it right, it was obvious. I'm not saying it's fully new to him. I mean, he is an amazing ball player,
I think
but
it's a knee.
it's a different feel when you're in right field and you're not calling people off. Like that's the center fielder's job now. But I do like Joe Adell in center at the moment. I would love for
He's
him to
good. He's good for
flip
now.
over to a corner right field spot.
I think realistically, Thano, we're going to see him move to left field, and I think we might be moving Ward, but or extending Ward. We're definitely going to be moving somebody, and I do want us to think about they might be moving Yohan Moncada if they
Right.
can get value for him because They just took two third basemen
I
who they could
I've
realistically
liked Moncada
they
since
call those
he's
guys
been with
up
the
right
team.
away,
Yeah,
Thano. Because
that's true.
the college position players that they took, the second baseman and the third baseman and the outfielder, those are guys that I'm expecting Perry to move up like very quick.
Mm.
Bremner, you might see him throw a start just because we're the Halos, but I think it would be best if we
The
didn't.
Yeah,
You want
we
to keep
still
his
have
arm
Caden
years.
Dana above him. We still have Ryan Johnson above him in terms
I
of
think
guys
you
that I think we'd
might see
call
him
up
in
first.
September when the Raw. I know, I'm serious. You might see him when the Raw because you got to understand the Angels they want to keep his arb years because they think, hey, if this guy's gonna be a number two, three pitcher, we want to keep him on that cheap contract as long as possible. We'll call him up in September if we're in it and we're making a run.
Right.
But like,
It's obvious that the Angels, I'm not saying they're playing it by ear, but they're seeing how this stretch of the season is going to play out before the trade deadline on
mhm.
what they're going to do. Obviously, we both want them to go on a nice run, not be full buyers at the deadline, but maybe add another starting pitcher and not destroy the farm system we
Call
just
or
built up,
call up a starting pitcher,
or
dude.
call up a starting pitcher.
Call up you got Ryan Johnson who's been dealing in high A.
True.
You've got some options now with this draft because you we were looking at it before and we were like talking to, hey, who's gonna replace Jack Kahanowitz? And we're like, well, we got Ryan Johnson and Chris Cortez are like our two guys. But
And
like,
and I'm not fully giving up on Jack Kohanowitz either. I think he's got the
no, me
stuff.
neither. I think
I
he's a pitch away, maybe.
Yeah, I think he similar to Ryan Zefferson, I think he threw the wrong pitch so many times. Like his mistake pitches just kept piling up. Like because sometimes you see him on the mound in an inning and you go, that guy's got great stuff. But sometimes he was just throwing the wrong sequence of pitches and the hitters knew what he was doing.
And look at a guy like Kikuchi, who, was a 4.5 guy his whole career, and in the last year and a half has turned into a 2.93 guy, right?
Yeah,
So like just getting these guys into the system and developing them with the modern analytics and the modern pitching lab effectively that the Angels have developed a state-of-the-art facility. That's why we're seeing this change in strategies because they have the facility now. We don't have to take these college kids that are already developed because we know, we were taking these guys out of, college because we're like, well, yeah, Texas A&M, Tennessee, they have better facilities than the Angels double A team. It's not
that's
even
true.
close.
No,
So
I
like
agree.
now we're sending all these kids to Arizona. The Arizona team's in first place because of it. We got Dylan Jordan, Trey Gregory Alford, and now a wave of guys coming to
Oh
join us.
yeah.
Because we
And
had two guys and we're sending five now. So now
oh
we've
yeah,
got seven. And these are all in the same kind of crop of age guys. So like, yeah, maybe we move one or two. But
sure.
I ain't moving Sawinski
No,
or
none of the new
or
guys you
CJ
just
Gray,
named.
because those guys have front end stuff. Like,
But what you just said about like teams like Tennessee or Texas A&M having better facilities, I also love the fact that we continuously have gotten guys from the University of Tennessee and this year LSU and Louisville, the teams that
have
make
been winning.
noise during the College World Series and all of those, and that are on really good teams. Because I always tell you and everyone else that cares to listen to me about Angels baseball is
Mostly just
when
me.
you pick college players, you want them to either, if they're pitchers, you want them to be pitching in big moments, or you want, like a batter, you want them to come up in big moments. Christian Moore hit for the cycle in the College World Series last year. That's a huge moment.
He's already had a
And
couple walk-offs with us.
and he's already had a couple walk-offs. I mean,
Or a go ahead and a walk-off or something like that.
he's
Yeah.
like when you have a guy that isn't scared of the moment, like obviously the average, the OPS, all those stats, but I'm talking about guys who are clutch, guys that come
Makeup.
in
Harry says makeup.
and they're not scared of the moment because that's also just a huge aspect of baseball is not being scared of the moment. Like Reed Detmers this year, every time he comes in, I mean, last couple times he did give up a couple runs, but for a good, what would you say, 2.5 month stretch, he was just
Best pitcher
lights
in
out.
baseball, maybe.
He was just lights out, just coming. Like every time he'd come in, I go, "Oh yeah, here's 3 outs,
We
just
knew it. Yeah, that's
3 outs."
the yeah, so that's it's that mental edge that you can get on a team, and that's something that it takes time to develop these kids, right? So like I'm excited. I see a young we've been asking it. Mike Trout committed this organization. When are we gonna have a young core around Mike Trout? Well,
Right.
fellas, you're seeing it.
it's coming up now. Obviously, we have Shanuel and we have Neto and we have Moore and Hohapi. And actually, Joe Adell's not old. We've just had Joe Adell in our
Like
system.
26. Mike Trout
I
is
think he's
how old now?
25.
Mike Trout is his age. He is
He's
33 years
33.
old,
Yeah.
turns 34 in a month. Well,
Yeah.
Mike Trout is going to have a very different 37, 38, 39, 40 with the
Sure.
Angels than a guy like Pujols had where he had just Mike Trout. Like
Yeah.
and that's what I think is exciting is that they're not only competitive now and they're making picks like Bremner to help them in the now, but they're really developing. So Thano, put it there. Let's go Halos, baby. Give me some.
Boom.
Boom. We're stoked.
We're stoked.
Wrap up this pod. I think we went way over. Um,
Yeah. It's a draft episode. It's a midway episode.
it's a big
It's
episode.
a,
A
it's
couple
a
episodes in
hopeful
one.
episode. Let's beat the Phillies tonight.
Let's come on. Let's beat some Philadelphia.
Ryan Zefferjon starting, everybody. Let's go.
And I like it. Let's do some bullpen days. Let's buy our
Something
team.
different. I
Yeah,
like it.
let's buy him some time. The Kahanas thing wasn't working. We need to win. Let's see. We go like Jared Tim said. He said if we go 7-4 before the deadline, and we are a game. Is that a game over 500 or is that 500? What are we?
That
That's a
would be
500.
exactly 500
If we're 2 games back,
or one game. But yeah,
I
we
think there might do some selling and buying at the same
I
time.
agree. And
It's how we drafted. And
looking
good
ahead in
bench.
the schedule, obviously playing the Phillies and the Mets is going to be a little tough, but we obviously play the Rangers and Mariners more, and we play the A's again, which is huge. We like playing the A's.
I think a guy. I'm gonna make an early prediction really quick. I think
Hmm.
I think we should look for a Luis Garcia style trade around a guy like Connor Brogdon.
So yeah.
Do you like that? Because we have a guy like Snead now in the farm who we can call up right away,
hmm I mean,
and we
I
should
don't
be
know.
thinking about acquiring assets.
I don't know what other teams are valuing Connor Brogdon at the moment, but in
Oh, it's
terms
got to
of
be similar to Garcia, right? That's what I think.
potentially, yeah, it's not out of the realm. I mean, we are hoping for Robert Stevenson to come back soon. I mean, hopefully he comes back soon because when he was pitching, he was playing great out of the bullpen, and he is making a lot of money.
I think they might sell a reliever or two, maybe sell Moncada, and maybe buy a little too. I think they should do both. They should sell buy. They shouldn't
If they do that and maybe go after like a
starting
real
third
true
baseman
starting pitcher.
or pitch or starting pitch. Because if we just look at Kahanowitz's record, I mean, outside of the Kahanowicz starts, we're a over 500 team.
Oh yeah, it's
We
tough.
are 6 games below, and we are
I
two
mean,
games.
it's tough
Right.
because recently, if it's not Kikuchi or
Oh,
Soriano,
Boston lost
we're
today, dude. Let's go.
they did. They did. If it's not Kikuchi or Soriano, we're expecting to give up 5+ runs a game. And even then, Soriano had a really bad start against the Rangers that I went to, my wife and I, and that was not fun. But in terms of we need to have more confidence in terms of throughout the entire rotation, not just our top two guys. I mean, Anderson has been whatever, and
Yeah,
Kyle Hendricks has
Soriano as a
played better
three
than
is
Tyler
totally.
Anderson.
Soriano as a three is totally
Yeah,
different. Soriano's. I don't think he's a two. I don't think he's a two. I do think
not
Kikuchi.
at the moment. He's
I do
got good
think
stuff, but
Kikuchi is actually like a solid two, and on some teams could be a one. I actually do think
mhm,
so. But I think the team is really hoping for Bremner to be a similar style quality pitcher to a Kikuchi
mhm.
to slot above Soriano.
Yeah, that
If they
makes
have
sense.
that, and if they get that out of Bremner, it's not about comparing him to the rest of the draft or his peers, Ethan Holiday. It's not about that. It's about comparing him and the 5 other guys we took to just one of those guys.
No, it's true. And honestly, if they go after any type of starting pitching at the moment, like honestly, like you said, any starting pitcher will be better than Jack Ohanowitz, just statistically. So if they go and get a guy, the bar is very low to surpass, in my opinion. But yeah, hoping for the best. Let's start off this second half of the season strong, and then hopefully we're in a nice little spot
We'll do
by
a
the
trade
time you get
deadline.
it.
I think that's the next pod we're gonna do. Is like
Oh, the trade deadline is gonna be insane.
the trade
It's
deadline
gonna,
pod. We'll do it after the deadline probably. So
yeah.
let's wrap this up with a couple of shout outs. Do we have any shout outs today for our fans and listeners? I think we should shout out
Mr.
hmm.
Jack Healy, Mr. Nick Veronis.
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
shout out Jack Healy for projecting that the Angels were gonna take a left-handed college pitcher. These Padres fans, man. Let's check out how many top 250 picks the Padres got, huh?
The problem is the Padres don't. They already have a better farm than we do, so there's that. So I
But
mean,
when Taylor Ward meets San Diego,
there's a lot of rumors. I mean, the thing is, if Padres fans are expecting Duran from the Red Sox and they end up with Taylor Ward, they're going to be wrong. That's the big.
let's see.
There's
Oh, okay. That's
four.
four top 250 guys. So man, sucks to be really good sometimes because you get really bad draft picks.
Sure, no, that's true. That is true.
So
But
they were also missing a second round pick here.
I
And we
do
got
hope the
19 guys.
Padres. That was Nick Pivetta.
That's why we don't take the that Thano, that's why we don't do that. And that's why
That was the Nick Pivetta signing, who has been playing really well though. But
has he been pitching well? Should we have
he
had rather
definitely has
had
been
Nick
pitching pretty
Pivetta
well.
than Chase Shores essentially?
Nick
God,
Pivetta
Nick
definitely would have
Pivetta's
been. Nick
nine
Pivetta
and
would be the
two with a
second best pitcher.
2.88 ERA.
Yeah, George. Nick Pivetta would be the second best pitcher, probably the third best pitch. No, he would be the best pitcher on the Angels right now. He would be.
All right, well, um,
But
all right, we're
in the
just gonna shut up
offseason,
before we prove too many of these Padres points. Let's just we're gonna wrap up this podcast.
that's fair.
All right, peace out.
Peace
Go
out.
Halos, baby.
Go Halos. Let's do this.